Hello, new world, and to all my G's. It's 2 G's, and welcome back to the channel where we'll be talking about nerd shit, anime, manga, and G shit. And today, we're starting a brand new segment where it's called the Gangsta Ass 90's. And why is it called the Gangsta Ass 90's? Because most of the shows and animes that were really being distributed, or you know what, I don't even want to say distributed, were more so just like mainstreamed to America and stuff, was like really gangster, gritty ass. Like from the movies like Akira to even Yu Hakusho was a little bit more gritty, and you got I forget the name of the show. Guts Berserk. You got Berserk. You got just a bunch of gritty ass Elfen Lied, gritty ass shows that were really brought out during the 90's. So I'm calling it the gangsta ass 90's because it gangsta as shit. Actually, not only that, but a lot of people say that like some of the most gangster music came from the 90's era, like hip hop. Most of the gangster hip hop came from the 90's era and shit like that. You got Tupac and all them boys, West Side Connection and all that, Snoop and all them. Yeah, so not only that, you got Nas and all them from the East Coast, Big and all them. But same thing could be said about anime back then too. It was more gritty, more hardcore, a little bit, more direct with the point. So we're doing it. What's called the Gangsta Ass 90's. Every week we're gonna be talking about a brand new, not brand new. It's funny how you can say that, but it's new to y'all, motherfucker. But talking about a new 90's era show every week, how it impacted anime, how a lot of shows got their influences from that particular show, how it was brought here, and reception of it by people who started watching it in the 90's. The reason why I'm giving so much of a shining light to this is because a lot of the more anime related things that we're accustomed to kind of bounced off and jumped off in the 90's and stuff like that. As like Dragon Ball Z, of course, is still like one of the most popular mangas and animes and stuff. Just not just that, the games, all the products, merchandise is just a huge corporation and stuff, and they done a lot, and it all started way back when. Even if you want to count Dragon Ball, even started way back when, even before in the 80's. So we're bigging up a lot of love to the 90's. I'm a 90's baby myself, so everything great comes from the 90's. God damn it. We're gonna start here. Before I start, let's talk about the era. I'm stretching this back to about, I want to say like 88, 89 to 2000. Okay. And a lot of the Western world was just getting hip to anime and stuff. We're just getting put on to some of the shows. The culture wasn't really big. When it came to anything animated in the US and stuff, it was mostly cartoons. All meant for kids type of stuff. Not to say anime wasn't, but it like I said, it became more gritty in the 90's, so therefore it had more access to more content, more adult themes and stuff. It's come from that point on, we didn't really get a lot of input from the Western world when it comes to shows. Actually, live action television was the main source of watching anything on TV. If you were watching something on TV, most likely it was live action. If it wasn't like The Simpsons or regular cartoons and stuff that people used to watch in the 90's. So big names, big things we want to point out here. One of the more premiere shows that came out was by somebody we all know and love for sure. And if you're on this channel, you definitely know who this guy is that I'm talking about. Akira Toriyama basically popped it off in the 90's, like in the 90's with a show called Dragon Warrior. Now I didn't watch the show. I'm not really familiar with the shit at all. Honestly, I couldn't care less to going back to watch that because there's so much good stuff now to see. So I might in my days, if somebody would recommend it to me and tell me that it's lit, I'll watch it, of course. But Dragon Warrior was essentially one of the first things that popped off. I heard it was from a game. They adapted it into a anime and stuff, and it popped off at that point. And if you don't know who Akira Toriyama is the guy who makes Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, and I believe he's got something else too that I can't remember. But he's working on some other stuff too. He's got tons of shit. You need to just know who Akira Toriyama is, and hop on the band. He's Dr. Slump and all this stuff. You've seen this, you've heard of this. You know this guy, big guy. Uh, when we're talking about things that really brought, like, shows and anime that really got brought over here and really elevated the landscape of anime and shit, I don't want to skip over stuff like Astro Boy, Gigantor, Speed Racer, and stuff. They're great shows, but they didn't really elevate anything in the community or anything for the fan base. People seen them, but it weren't really like the things that people jumped off of to say, I want to see more of this. So this is why I want to give a slight nod to them, but not too much, because we're going from 90s and up. So that's where we at. Before we go deep into one particular show, we're just gonna give a wide base before we select the one that we're gonna do and keep it going. We got shows like Sailor Moon. I was never a big fan of Sailor Moon. I was growing up as a kid, so Sailor Moon was really too girly for me. But I do know it has a huge fan base. People love the show Sailor Moon. It's a great thing, and I feel like it gave a lot of field perception of what anime could be, because it was tough, hardcore, but also it had another side to touch the children and to touch the core of, cartoons are still fundamentally for children. Even though they have the new ones or the more common stuff that we usually watch are more geared towards adults now, I feel like the start of most of them are still generally, hey, look, we're still a cartoon, and we want people to go on amazing adventures. And Sailor Moon is one of the shows that actually did that in a fair way, and it gives girl power. Shout out to girl power to all the ladies out there and stuff. We need more girl power, like, so shout out to all of that shit. Put shorties on. I know so many shorties who are just like literal fans of things like Sailor Moon and Hello Kitty and all that. Still to this day, merchandise is selling crazy. People love to see Sailor Moon stuff all the time. There's been, I don't keep up with it, but I know there's so many iterations of Sailor Moon. It's probably ridiculous now, but shout out to them. They put a huge pinnacle on anime and stuff back in the day. You got shows like Gundam.
Bruh.
Gundam is my shit, first of all. I always fucked with Gundam. Bruh, it took me to being a little kid to seeing niggas fighting in gigantic ass robots. That was enough for me to know what I wanted to do in life. I wanted to be a fucking Gundam pilot. You feel me? You get in the suit. Then you rolling, running. See, it's funny. The beginning era of Gundams, I mean, I admire what it does. I'm a Ray, and all the beginning Gundams and stuff like that. I appreciate all that. But it wasn't until like Gundam Wing and stuff that I really became a fan of the series. And that's because of the variations between Gundam. The first Gundam is only one, so. But as it continued to go on, we got so many cool variations of different Gundams and shit. And it blew my fucking mind, bro. If you ever watch Power Rangers, and I know you watch Power Rangers. If you ever watch Power Rangers, you'd see them jump into the Megazord. Wasn't that like the coolest shit? So what about each person individually having their own Gundam, having their own Megazord? That's essentially what we getting from Gundam. So big shout out to that. We got shit like Dragon Ball Z, one of the most goated shows ever in existence. You talk about Dragon Ball Z, motherfuckers already know. You say Goku, motherfuckers already know. You say Vegeta, motherfuckers already know. So y'all motherfuckers already know. We talking about. Now, this show is a little controversial for me. Not to say I actually love this show. I actually love the concept and everything that came up from the show. But I don't consider fucking Pokemon an anime. The reason why I don't consider it anime, I think of it as like a Japanese cartoon, basically, where it's more so just like, I'm trying to sell toys in this bitch. So, I'm selling toys in this bitch. I'm selling merch and toys to all these young motherfuckers out here. So, the story plot, it's gonna be a whole lot of but them toys and them products and them games gonna be fire. Put the fire. So we got Pokemon, and I'm playing Pokemon Go currently. To this day, I'm always playing Pokemon Go. Team Mystic, I will murk you motherfuckers if y'all anything else. You hear me? Switch to Team Mystic. Yu Yu Hakusho, as you can see. Whew. Yu Yu Hakusho, another class, another banger. And when you want to talk about intros, first of all, I think the 90s, it's honestly a great thing to say. Before I even touch on the particular topic that I wanted to talk about today, it's amazing to say that the 90s era has some of the most bangingest soundtracks, some of the most bangingest OSTs, some of the most banging intro, outro music. First of all, if you don't know this one, if you don't know the intro to Yu Yu Hakusho, I'll slap your mom. She got Inuyasha got some fire ones too, and I believe Inuyasha was started more so in the I believe it's more so started in the late 90's, the late 90's into the 2000s. So I'm still including all that. But Inuyasha has some bangers too, and they always had so much soul. They were like, I think what I want to say is that most of the 90's, music really reflects on the era, because it was still when people were singing, like, people were still grabbing for the air, and more deep voices before auto-tuning, before like engineers were so sick with the music and shit and all that. It was more based on voices, and it sounded really smooth and really clean and stuff. Not to say that some of the stuff now can't do that, but back in the days, it was just, I feel like more effort to produce this like type of quality. I'm gonna do another. I don't want to touch too much on 90's movies, because I am gonna do another segment for the 90's movies. Big ups to those movies that came up, like Akira. They deserve their own, their own lane for their video. So I'm definitely gonna put out a video for the 90's movies and stuff, and how they, transition this stuff. But the show I wanted to talk to you guys today is YuYu Hakusho. Yes, sir. And I don't really know exactly when or what time I got put on the YuYu Hakusho, but I knew it was through Adult Swim, and I already get it through Adult Swim and Toonami, and I already gave y'all my love for Adult Swim and Toonami. Shout out to them. Since they had this huge venue with all types of shit that we could watch, YuYu Hakusho just caught my eye. The first, anything that was animated, I was watching because I was still young at the time. But it was all the content that was going on through the show that actually made me stick to it. And like the first couple episodes, Yusuke dies. And I'm like, oh shit, I gotta watch this show. What the hell happened to boy? Started off the show all good, protagonist, bah, car, oh shit. And then people thought he was a scumbag the whole time. Like, thought he wasn't shit. And I see Yusuke as us, the troubled youth, I would say. Growing up, shit was hard for everybody. And it was either you follow the rules that everybody taught you and not be who you wanted to be, or you decide to say fuck them, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I'm gonna just be me. And you would have to accept that, because I have to accept you being who you are. So that's Yusuke. Yusuke was the type of person to do that. He was a G back in the days, because he didn't take no shit from nobody, and if you fucked with him, he was gonna fuck with you, or if you fucked with somebody that he fucked with, he was gonna fuck with you. Hence his homeboy Kuwabara and sparring mate and rival and whatever you might want to say. Kuwabara's face is cut off up top. We'll put a picture of him right here. But hence his boy Kuwabara. So Yusuke, essentially, it's a show about spirit detectives, and after he dies, he's getting a chance to be reborn again. And with this opportunity to be reborn again, he gets to be a spirit detective. And essentially, a spirit detective is literally what it means. You take on demons, you take on ghosts, you take on different apparitions and stuff, and you solve the cases behind them. It might just be a mystical item that you have to find, or a particular demon has been released, or certain situations that, like a spirit that can't rest itself. We know what this type of concept is. Typical Shinigami type of vibe, you feel me? Yusuke and his friends, they as the series spreads out and you see more interactions between the other world and stuff, obviously Yusuke has a close attachment to the other world, because not only was he killed and brought back to life, he was brought back to life with a mission to help progress things that were going on in the spirit world. And this is when we meet people like Koenma and Botan and I forget the lady, the chick that he's messing with all the time. The protagonist always got to get that one shorty they be fucking with, and he got this one shorty he be fucking with, but she not important because she don't do shit. So it is what it is. As he travels through his ventures and shit like that, Kuwabara ends up coming with them. I said best friend rivals. It is what it is. Everybody needs a running mate. This is his running mate. But traveling through, there's certain things that he has to go through, like when in particular, when getting certain items and shit, and looking for certain things to finish the mission because he is a detective. So the goal is he has these cases and he has to solve the cases. After the cases are over, he can go back to doing regular shit. And I hope I'm not skipping over too much. I just want to give you like a little gist of the show. I don't want to spoil nothing for people who haven't seen it because it's funny. The way how spoiling works now is like if something's new, you can spoil it. But honestly, there's stuff that's old that people haven't watched yet. You can still spoil it for them too. So I don't want to spoil nothing for anybody. I just want to give you an in-tune, like a basic recap summary of what the hell Yu Yu Hakusho is about. So, in his travels and stuff, he meets up with a demon named Hiei. This is the guy here. We'll put more of Hiei. And Hiei's a demon, a full-fledged demon. He has a certain certain attitude of himself. He's badass, bro. Look at him though. He's badass. He's actually my favorite character. I gotta say. He looks like a regular Joe in human world and stuff, but he was a thief. He used to work with some bandits and stuff like that. He usually has his own moral compass, does whatever he wants. When we first get introduced to him, he's not the nicest of guys. Actually, they go up against him because he is a demon and he has to be expelled. This is they are in our realm, so we have to make sure to keep tabs on things like this. So that's what Yusuke does. That's his job, to take down stuff. So he ends up going up against him and he escapes. But as the series goes on, obviously, he's in the poster. They become boys, and they start to rock together as two. The last member of the group is Kurama. He is also a demon. He's a fox demon type of shit. He's got a mysterious past, a little deeper than the most. I mean, all of them have real serious, real deep past, except for, I want to say, Kuwabara, because Kuwabara develops his story as we develop with him. But everyone else, sort of, as the story progresses, you'll see how deep and how drastic their transformations as individuals are from when they started into when they end. Kurama is just another piece of the puzzle, and he's a wolf demon, and there's a lot to Kurama that you want to see. He's usually more passive than the rest, more kind. He's a certain affirmation for flowers, and he's a generally more nicer than the rest of the folks, because Yusuke is a badass with a fucking attitude. Hiei will kill you at any point in time. Kuwabara is just hot-headed, and then you got relaxed ass Kurama. You always need somebody like that in your squad. So, most of the gist and the biggest points, like I don't want, like I said, I'm not trying to spoil anything. Some of the high points of Yu Yu Hakusho would definitely have to be the fighting techniques that they use. And this is a spiritual-based anime, so they're definitely going to use different types of energy waves. And one of the most potent is the spirit gun. Essentially, he can pour spirit, and Yusuke, the main character, can pour spirit energy into his finger. And as he do it, he can just let it off like a gun. Essentially, that's what it is, right? He's a spirit detective with a spirit energy gun, and he can shoot the shit out of you. All of them have different abilities that they do learn and do manifest throughout the show. Hiei's got the black dragon. Kurama uses thorns and whips and roses for most of his combat. Kurama uses a shing energy blade, but that's later on in the story. And they grow, they progress. They actually enter demon world or spirit world in order to solve more cases, but there's a deeper rooted issue when they meet Yusuke's sensei, and I, for the life of me, cannot remember her name right now. Ah, damn. It's Genkai. My bad. I'm fucking stupid. How did I forget Genkai's name? Genkai. So Genkai's this badass grandma type chick, and she don't take no shit. And the reason why, before I say anything else, the reason why I really love Yu Yu Hakusho was because their access to, the language that they wanted to use. Growing up, it was on Adult Swim, so luckily they didn't have to censor it as regular shows were. So when Yusuke calls his sensei, the short old lady, an old bitch, she only replies with some other smart shit, like to dub him. So she'll definitely be like, "Oh, you old bitch," and he like, "You pathetic asshole, like you ain't shit." I love that relationship because it's more akin to what we actually live in, as opposed to the sugar-coated piece of shit that they give us in cartoons, which I fucking hate. But This was it was so funny and so natural of an interaction because they're both the same people. They're both hard headed, don't give a fuck, but they're super kind people, and they tell you straight up how it is. They don't cap. No cap in Yu Yu Hakusho. They never cap. Except that little kid who had that one cap. He was capping a good bit. So Genkai is his master. Genkai is telling him basically, you got something more stored in your body. You got something more that you can bring to this world. There's things that's going on and you can help save it. Are you down to it? Now this is remember in the beginning he's a knucklehead kid. He doesn't really care about too much shit. He cares about himself. The world didn't really care about him in his eyes. So he don't care about nobody else. He just wants to survive. He's basically like a dog, lone wolf in nature. But now he's figuring out the bonds between life and is bringing them to a better place. Highlights of the show are definitely the tournaments, the fighting scenes. They have Demon World YuYu like Dragon Ball Z style tournaments where they can scrap it out for dominance in the Demon World and stuff. And essentially anybody's able to participate as long as you're there. You can show up and participate. And he happens to be fairly strong. He does some training with Genkai. The whole squad does training with various people and stuff, and they get better. And they traverse through this spirit world and the human world, and they solve mysteries. They solve cases. They whoop a whole lot of ass in a gangsta ass way because Yusuke don't give a fuck. Yusuke don't give a fuck. Yusuke the type to walk up on you, punch you on your shit, and then ask you what you did. And if the answer suits him, he might pick you up, dust you off, and let you go. And if it don't, you catch his spirit guns. I love how he got the heater. He always keep the heater on him. He just popping up, popping off. Closing statements I want to say. It was Yu Yu Hakusho is a very, very down to earth. Even though it's funny in hindsight, it's about, you know, spirits and otherworldly beings and stuff. It's still a very down to earth anime that's definitely worth watching and rewatching. They got movies. The development is great. It also a lot of characters, they have the same type of nature in different animes, different shows, and even different mangas. They all have the same type of energy, and I want to say a lot of it stems from characters like Yusuke. Sorry, I'm thinking about fucking Yu-Gi-Oh. Put the hair on me again. Yusuke is a little bit of a blueprint to the rest of the hard-head, knuckle-headed ass characters. A lot, as I said, this came out earlier than what we see now, so Asta, in a sense, can be said to be a Yusuke. Some points of Ichigo, because Ichigo, he's usually a relatively chill, laid-back motherfucker, but when the times gets tense, he knows he has a direct objective to save who he has to save, and he puts that up most before anybody else. Yusuke is very similar to that way, and a lot of the other characters in Yu Yu Hakusho are definitely, I want to say, represented in other shows in a great positive ways, showing some much necessary love to Yu Yu Hakusho as a show for what it stands for in from the 90s to now, how it correlates. Like I said, a lot of shows have fell in. So we got shows like Demon Slayer, Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen. Shows like that can almost be like, you can honestly say that those people who wrote those shows are sitting there watching Yu Yu Hakusho growing up like, wow, this is a great concept. I wonder what I could do if I had the chance to make something like this. And we got things like this that were super epic and super great. And I want to just another ode to the gangsta ass 90s. How they really do their thing and really put on to, and really were the blueprints for a lot of shows. Never gonna spoil it. I won't tell you what the fuck happens. You gotta watch it for yourself. It's actually fairly long. Enjoy the time that you're there, because you will. If you don't know who Toguro is, you gonna fucking know who Toguro is at the end of this shit for sure. For sure. If y'all ain't know, I'm built like Toguro. You can't see now. I'm built just like Toguro. You know. You gotta say with the extra K. You feel me? But that's it for this segment right now. We're doing. I'm thinking maybe a video a week of the 90s edition. Just putting y'all onto good 90s shit that just feel good vibes. Great way to start. The origins are there, and they led to a lot. Just another thing to watch and to get onto. So if you're looking for anything to recommend or to put people onto, I would definitely recommend you guys start from the 90s era and work your way up to bigger stuff. Not to mention, One Piece and stuff was started in 1999. It got brought over here in 1998, I believe, and started airing out in 1999. I didn't want to skip on that because it did get its roots back then. It got most of its roots back then. Even though it's still one of the premier, more outstanding anime still to this day. You know, with ongoing chapters and such, we still got to give it a shout out to its roots back in the day. But next week, we're gonna run some more on the 90s. On this 90s segment, we're gonna have another show that we're gonna talk about and discuss for you. Maybe go into more detail, if anything. What will it be? I ain't about to tell y'all. Y'all gotta tune in, and we'll talk about something else next week. Also, we're gonna start our segment for the current OGs who are rocking it out now. Shows that are like implemented in anime history, like our big three and other shows that really stand out. And we're just gonna keep rocking it out. As always, be good, be safe, light a spliff, tune in. I'ma holla. Y'all be good, be safe. Yo, to everyone in the world, and to all my G's, maybe we should adjust this a little bit. We got a special guest in this building. We got Willy San. Uncle Willy San. You got the box here.
Yeah, I know he talked to y'all today about a little bit about YuYu Hakusho. That's one of my personal favorites. That's a great 90s joint. It's aged so well.
For sure.
Like, it's so strange, but it's aged so well. You watch it now and it's like, I don't mind it.
This is why it's recommended.
Actually, I watched it recently. I was still kind of taken back how disrespectful this little homie is. Little Yusuke. Son is wild at 14. But, like, when the show ends, I think he's 17?
Something like that.
Yeah,
I forget the ages. I mean, anime ages never really matter too much.
It's crazy. So, we're going to pop over on my spot, and I'm going to show y'all a little bit of what I'm about.
Welcome to the Cozy Corner.
Facts. What is good, y'all? It's your boy, Uncle Willy San, a.k.a. Groovy, and welcome to Cozy Corner. Alright, y'all. So today we get to film at my little spot. You can see my setup now, something like for y'all. And I figured I'd give y'all a little bit about me. Now I told y'all when we was chilling with Kenny about my first three, Metabots, Gundam, and Digimon. I have love for those three. But when I really first saw my the one that was edgy and kind of gory and and the little homies was out here cursing in it was with my boy, the great Urameshi, Yusuke Urameshi. That was the one where I was staying up all night watching Toonami. That was the one that was yo, there's something here for me. I like this. And as I grew up, I watched I stuck with some of the older ones. My boy Vash the Stampede from Trigun. And then, moving into the 2000s when I was in high school, this is a fact. I used to just binge watch anime at 3 a.m. I finished Soul Eater, another great one, in a couple days just from staying up all night watching it. It was just great. I really found something I really enjoyed watching that I could put on. Even when my pops would walk in the room and be like, "You still watching cartoons?" I'm like, "Bro, if you watch some of the stuff that was in here, you would not call this a cartoon." There's some there's some crazy things that go on that does not make this a cartoon.
Nigga let it off in the car, bro.
That's a fact, son. That's a fact. But so also what we're gonna be doing, I got this little segment called Cozy Corner. I'm gonna be putting y'all on to some of the dope anime gear that I be wearing out. What's comfortable, what's durable, what you can, not a t-shirt's gonna fall apart on you after one wash, and that you gonna wear out with the homies and you be like, yo, what's that? Where you get that from? We also gonna be doing, I'm gonna show y'all how to wear some of this stuff out. With the anime fit of the week, that's gonna be, personally one of my favorite segments.
Big flex on them.
Every time I can, get a new, model kit. I love building these things. I think it's super super relaxing. It's personally a recommendation for me. And you know, like every time I can pick one up, because I got a couple spots in the city. You know, I like to venture out there and find like spots I've never been at. Like
We're gonna be doing video trips as well too.
that's a fact, bro. And it's like, you know, every now and then I'm gonna pick some up and I'm gonna have to show y'all because I get excited. We also gonna be doing openings like the one I got for y'all right now. Super excited. If I think this is what it is, son, I'm excited. If this is what I believe it is,
My son might have some heat for you, boy.
alright. From one of my favorite brands with the anime gear. Very, very inexpensive. Uniqlo. I will speak to y'all about, I love their this is a Uniqlo shirt. I've had it for a couple years. You can tell the black hasn't really faded. The cause design isn't chipping or anything like that. I love their materials. The only thing I recommend is if you buy Uniqlo, you have to size up. It's not really American sizing. It's Asian sizing, but they've been doing a lot of dope anime collabs. I got the anime fit of the week is going to include one of those later on. But for right now, I got a piece that I was so excited about. It sold out on the website. I was tight. I had to buy it resale. It is what it is. Oh, yep. I'm just so hyped about this t-shirt. Son. Oh, yep. For those of you that love Demon Slayer, I love Demon Slayer. Remember that. Oh. Now the front, you know, it's just hilt. You know, it's cool. It's nothing crazy. But the back, my God. Look at that. Look at that. Look at Tanjiro protecting his little sister's son. I'm an older brother. I believe that, you know, we're supposed to take care of our little sisters. For sure. You know? So, like, this show really hit home with me just because, like, the dedication he has. Also, I'm a really big, you know, it's no longer October, you know. During October, I try to wear pink as much as possible, you know, breast cancer awareness. But, bro, this shirt just hits so crazy. I already have a pair of kicks, like, mashed up with it, so you already know it's gonna be in the rotation. It's gonna be in the rotation. And let me show y'all something. This is the price of these shirts. I promise you, like, it's a large, you know. I like wearing an oversized shirt. It's
you
just
are supposed to buy up too.
Son. $14.90. $14.90, and I guarantee you this will last me longer than anything you buy in the middle of the mall. I'm just saying.
True.
And with that, we will get to the anime fit of the week, brought to you by yours truly.
What is good, y'all? It's Uncle Willy San, about to bring y'all the first anime fit of the week, and you see a snow on the ground. I'm coming out cold. Boom, look. Premium leather Vanchetto Air Force One low with the Nike cargo pants, and there it is. The Gundam Uniqlo t-shirt. Love their stuff, love the brand, and topped it all off with my Stussy two-tone corduroy. Something light for y'all.